Let's take a step back and look more deeply into the big history narrative, not just as a sequence of events, but as an evolving pattern of change across time. Big history covers the development of the cosmos starting with the Big Bang, about 13.8 billion years ago, the Earth formation about 4.5 billion years ago, the evolution of life, the evolution to the human species and agriculture, and then the evolution of human civilization. Now, many short courses present this story as a sequence: cosmic evolution, Earth formation, life, humans, civilization. Similar to how subjects are divided in school: astronomy, earth science, biology, anthropology, and history. From the Big Bang, the universe expanded and cooled, eventually allowing matter to organize into structures. Over time, gravity pulled gas clouds together to form the first stars. Inside those stars, new elements were forged, and through supernova explosions, those elements were scattered across space, seeding future generations of stars and planets. Our own solar system formed much later, about 4.5 billion years ago, from this enriched cosmic material. The details of how planets formed, and how they migrated into their current positions, are still active areas of research. Earth, however, turned out to be a very special case. It had a combination of conditions that allowed life to emerge: the right chemical ingredients, moderate temperatures, a protective magnetic field, sufficient mass to hold an atmosphere, and even a large moon that helped stabilize its climate. These Goldilocks conditions were not guaranteed. They were the result of a long chain of cosmic events. The formation of the Earth was a key transition event from cosmic development to evolution of life and consciousness on Earth. Once life began, probably in the oceans, evolution gradually expanded into new environments. Life moved onto land, diversified, and adapted. A major turning point came about 66 million years ago, when an asteroid impact led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. This opened ecological niches, allowing mammals to diversify and grow in complexity. Among these mammals, one lineage of primates adapted to changing environments, possibly shifting from forests to grasslands. Over time, this lineage developed new capabilities: tool use, language, control of fire, and eventually agriculture. These innovations transformed human life from small, mobile groups into settled communities. With agriculture came surplus, and with surplus came specialization. Humans began forming cities and states, supporting a wide range of activities: craft production, trade, governance, art, and science. Civilization introduced a new level of complexity built increasingly on culture, rather than biology. Some visualizations try to capture this complete timeline. For example, this diagram by Pablo Carlos Budassi shows a spiral with each quarter turn of the spiral representing a billion years toward the present. However, this type of depiction often compresses recent human history and misses the richness of cultural and technological change. However, if we go back to the way subjects are divided in school: astronomy, earth science, biology, anthropology, and history, we can see an alternative representation focusing on all important phases. This layered structure is useful. Each level builds on the previous one and introduces new forms of information, physical processes, genetic systems, and eventually cultural knowledge. Then each layer can be studied for its own sequence of smaller steps. But there is still a deeper way to see this narrative. Instead of just a timeline, we can think of big history as a series of expanding layers of diversity. At each stage, new possibilities emerge. Stars create chemical diversity. Life creates biological diversity. Humans create cultural diversity. Civilizations create institutional and technological diversity. This is not just a straight line of progress. It is more like a branching, spreading structure, where each level opens up new pathways that support further development. There is also an interesting parallel with technological change. New technologies often follow a familiar pattern: slow beginnings, rapid improvement, and then a leveling off as they mature and integrate with other systems. If we look at big history as a whole, we can see something similar. Early cosmic change was rapid, followed by long periods of gradual development. Later, biological and human changes accelerated dramatically. This raises an important question. Can this acceleration continue indefinitely? Or will it slow down like typical technology arcs? Some perspectives suggest that the rate of change may eventually slow. As systems become more complex, integration becomes more difficult. Future development may still involve enormous change, but perhaps at a different pace, shaped by constraints, feedbacks, and the limits of complex adaptive systems. So, instead of seeing big history as a simple story of continuous acceleration, we can think of it as a dynamic process. One that includes bursts of innovation, expanding diversity, and potentially new phases of stabilization. And that brings us to the future. The story of big history is not finished. The cone of possible futures spreads out before us, shaped by both constraints and choices. Even if the pace of change slows, the range of possibilities remains vast. Understanding the deeper patterns of the past, how complexity emerges, how diversity expands, and how systems evolve, may help us better navigate what comes next. Understanding the deeper patterns of the past, how complexity emerges, how diversity expands, and how systems evolve, may help us better navigate what comes next. Here are some open access papers that were used to construct this presentation.